Can we talk some Jackson Holliday?
Yeah,
everyone's favorite.
Yeah, can we talk about it? Since we did the video, we talked about it, and we had last time on the episode. You guys should go back and check it out where we had more conversations. Rocco actually spoke specifically with Jackson Holliday, and that was when Jackson started to pick it up. And then since then, he's been on the tear. And Zach, Jackson now, I saw you put out a tweet of saying the probability, and I'll have my thoughts here in a second, but your probabilities for Jackson making the team keeps going up, especially after that 3-hit game against the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, and I think actually the biggest, not telltale, but thing I saw that changed my mind, because the way I put it in the tweet is I think coming into spring training, I was about 50-50. He could make the team. He could not. He could start in the minors. Started struggling, and I dropped it down to like 30-35%. But after Brandon Hyde was asked about Jackson making the team, and he said, it's not necessarily about the stats. It's how he looks. It's how comfortable he is at the plate, the quality at the at-bat, how he looks at second base, being in the field. So that, to me, sounded like a manager saying, yeah, it's spring training. We'd like him to do well, but at the same time, they want to see how he looks. The comfortability is a massive thing. And I think that's what, from his first at bat in spring training to that 3-for-4 day yesterday, he looks like a totally different hitter in the box, confidence-wise, with comfortability. So I do think right now I have it at about 70% chance he makes the team in my head.
Yeah, I think, well, we talk about like overreactions, and I think it goes both ways, where it's overreactions to whether it's slow starts or fast starts and how a guy progresses. So I have it like, I think, to me, it's probably like 60-40. In my opinion, like closer to 50-50. But in my opinion, and we talked about this last time, if he's there, he's there, and he's not going back down. Like that to me is the thing where if you're the Orioles and you feel like he's ready to make the club out of spring training, you're not gonna send him back down if that's what it is, unless something crazy. I don't even know what that would be, but unless something crazy happens.
Well, you got to be okay with guys struggling. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that's the big part of, as much as Jackson could end up being the greatest baseball player to ever live, but even the greatest players are going to have their struggle periods, especially when you're younger. I mean, and I bring this up, we brought it up, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, even Cedric Mullins struggled coming up to the big leagues. Like it was an adjustment period for these guys. You can go through the other list, Austin Hayes, Anthony Santander. You had to deal with, the changes, right? So at some point, Jackson might have to deal with that. And as young as he is, that's where the conversation keeps going. But the thing I think we keep bringing up here, if you're going to bring him up, he's got to play. Yes. He's got to play all the time. But if he's not going to, then that's a whole different discussion. The Orioles, Jackson's not on the 40-man, right? Mm-hmm. So since he's not on the 40-man and they'd have to clear a roster spot, it's a lot more moves. And it just, as great as it's been, I think still the verdict's not going to be out on whether he's going to make it. I still lean the fact that he's not going to start with the team. I still believe that that's what's going to happen. But what I love about him is you're seeing he's using the whole field. He's driving the ball to every part of it. And I think as that starts to show overall, he's going to have a lot of success at the big league level. And so a lot of these prospects, but everyone has their eyes on Jackson Holliday, who is also right now, he's not playing. He's not in the lineup for tonight's game. And for the recap for that right now, Gunnar Henderson's got a couple knocks. Great seeing Gunnar back, by the way. He seems healthy. He seems good. And that was not a worry in the world. Obies are tough, though.
Yeah, man. I was kind of worried. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of worried, not in the sense of like, oh, I thought this was going to be, something massive or a big injury. But it was one of those injuries, like you said, with obliques, where I was really interested to see how he would feel the first few at bats and how he would do the first few times playing. And like you say, he's got a few knocks tonight. He looks good out there. And that's just such a great sign for the Orioles, because talk about a guy that, we've talked about him, potentially an MVP type player for the Orioles this year. So he's a guy that they were always going to take it slow. They were going to be cautious about it. It looks like so far, knock on wood, it's going well.
It seems to be going very well. Can we talk about another guy that's been fighting injuries real quickly before we talk about another media personality?
Also, real quick, I was trying to find this as well. I believe the Orioles are at 39 on their 40-man roster right now.
Well, and they like to keep it that way if they can. It's strategic for a reason, because also when it gets close to the end of camp too, teams are going to have to make moves. They're going to try to claim people. that's just the reality of the situation.
I don't want to be Brandon Hyde or Mike Elias at the end of spring training.
Oh, hell no.
It's got to be so. I mean, you got so much talent, and it's like, how do you choose?
Good problem to have, though. But
100%. But like, goddamn,
doesn't make it any easier. Though.
No, and then another guy. I mean, this isn't even prospect wise, but we're talking about that. People are saying the Orioles need more pitching, or they need to put the right roster out. You're forgetting about guys that might be on a comeback, and one of those names that always gets, it really bothers fans because they don't think he's pitched well enough. Personally, I know he dealt with a lot of injuries last year, and everyone sees his face all over the rain delay games on Masson, which is Keegan Akin, which all I've heard about Keegan Akin is he looks phenomenal. He does look really good to start this year. So that goes into the decisions so far of kind of what the Orioles are going to have to do here. And if you are tuning in, by the way, Ryan Ripken Show, we're doing this usually Monday and Thursdays, but because of the change of schedule, we had to do this Wednesday, but it seems like it's great that it's on Wednesday because we have so many people tuning in on X.
780 people tuning in right now on X. That's
pretty cool.
Well,
highest of all time on X. That's
that's for sure.
By a wide margin.
And if you guys want to come on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on X as well. We love this, right? We're going to keep doing this consistently for the season.